Hello everyone, and welcome to another review. This idea was actually given to me by a commenter on YouTube, so thanks to that guy if he's watching right now. This is the HD598 SE, so special edition by Sennheiser, and I've been wanting to review this for a while now, but in the UK the price of this is generally on Amazon at the level where I really don't want to pay for it because I know that's a weird way to start a review, talking about a price like that, but it's usually like 145 to 150 pounds, and that's quite a bit more than what it is in America, so I think, nah, I'm not going to get it right now. But these went on sale, the flash sale, Amazon Prime sale, for about 99 pounds. So at 99 pounds, I thought, yeah, I'm going to get it. Even though it's gone down to $99 in America, 99 pounds, pretty comparable. However, on Black Friday, which is coming up soon, so this can be considered kind of timely if they do this again. This will go down to about 75 pounds. It went down to 75 pounds November 27th, 2015, which nowadays in the current exchange rate is about $93. And this goes down to $99 in America, so it'll actually be cheaper in the UK come Black Friday if they keep the same numbers. They might make it a bit cheaper because this actually has a new model that's come out, the 599. Sennheiser's released a bunch of new headphones in their 500 series, 569, 599, two others which I don't remember right now. So this might even go down even further. But what is this, and what are you getting for the price that you pay? Let's talk about build quality first. Now, looks wise, Sennheiser headphones have always caught my attention because they always have this really nice look to them. Very distinctive air cup. Now I know that this air cup is very distinctive for the 600 series, the 500 series. However, the 800 and the 700 both do away with this air cup design, and they go into completely new territory, new futuristic looking, science fiction kind of looking. But this is quite a classic design, quite like this. The other version, the non-special edition version, comes in cream and brown, which a friend of mine prefers, but I prefer this one, the black one. I believe this is more uniform looking, more low-key kind of look. But that's quite nice too, quite 1970s looking, in my opinion. Yeah, looks-wise, I think this is a very nice looking pair of headphones. Very light. Like, I can't stress how light these are. These are, compared to even, let's say, the HD800, these are light headphones. It's because of their mostly this plastic is very light plastic that they're using all over. Light, but it doesn't feel cheap. This is not cheap feeling plastic, and you're not gonna feel like you're being like given some kind of really cheap, crappy plastic product because it's just light and it feels durable, which is I think quite nice. Now the headband, which you can see has Sennheiser written on it, is definitely not real leather or anything like that, but it's quite well padded. Some people I've read have a problem with this cushioning right here. I'm not sure why, because I've been able to wear these for hours and hours with no problem. Like hours and hours of this just lightly on my head with no comfort issues at all. So I'm not sure why this is a problem because I find this to be quite well padded. There's like, you can feel like there's air in there. If you can hear that, there's air coming out. So very well padded in my opinion. Very comfortable. The ear cups are velour and very, very soft. Yeah, there's not leather or anything, no hybrid, nothing going on around here. Just basic ear cups, quite large. Can fit your ears quite well. Not obviously as over the top large as the HD800, but we'll get to that. And yeah, just very nice durable pair of headphones. And let's talk quickly about the cables that come with it. And I'm using cables in the collective sense because this comes with two cables. Number one, a cable for portable listening. This is a 1.2 meter cable which terminates in 3.5 millimeters, and this is the connector that goes into the headphones. Now, unlike a lot of headphones that I've been reviewing, which need two cables to be plugged in, this just needs one side to be plugged in, and there's a little locking mechanism in there. So you just put it in like that, and then you twist it to the right. Now it's locked in. You can't pull it out unless you twist it back to the left, and then you pull it out. So, yeah, this is actually the cable I've been using the most because these aren't really hard to drive, but I'll get to that. Let's just talk about how this is a nice, thin, but quite durable cable. And then the other one that it comes with is a 3 meter long cable of the same thickness, so it's not going to be ridiculously thick like the full lavalier cable, for instance. But this also has the same connector, obviously, but this terminates in 6.35 millimeter or a 1/4 inch adapter. But it also comes with this adapter in case you want to use this for something. Now you have this terminating in 3.5 millimeters as well. So you got two very nice cables with this. Not over the top great cables, but these do the job absolutely. You don't really need more than this if you're using the HD598. I don't think you really want to run this through balance mode or anything like that, but if you do, you'll have to find another option because these are both single-ended. Now, the sound. When I first got these, I did my unboxing video and then I put these on straight away right after. My mistake was I had been listening to the HD800 all morning before I put these on, which is a stupid thing to do, and I would recommend you don't do that. Don't use headphones of a certain price range with certain strengths and then go and then put something on straight away, because it becomes like a bit of an A/B test, and these really can't compete in that regard. Like in the regard of, let's say, the spatial awareness and the clarity, yeah, this at the time was not able to compete at all. So I realized my mistake quickly, and I thought, well, I'm just going to forget about this first impression, and I'm going to put these to a side, listen to nothing but the audio coming from my laptop speakers, so not that great audio, as a sort of air palette cleanser for about an hour, and then I would come back to these. So once I did that, I forgot about the sound of the HD800 for a while, came back to these. They sounded a lot better to my ears, but quite a bit warm. And I was surprised by that. I thought, well, people keep telling me that the HD598, not a lot of bass, not a lot of warmth. Some people even describe it to me as bright. I don't see that. Well, I didn't see it at the time. So I thought these sound a little stuffy, to be honest. A little congested. What's going on here? I tried it with my laptop motherboard sound output. I tried it with my Basso DX80. I tried it with my cell phone. I tried it with both my amplifiers. Oh yeah, I don't recommend using this with the first one, liquid carbon. These are way too sensitive for the single-ended output of that. And the hum issue, you can hear it immediately. So, but with my Magni, it sounds really nice. But still congested. I was like, what's going on here? I need to... Okay, controversial, statement and all. I didn't listen to this for very long. I listened to this for about maybe 10 minutes, and then I decided I'm going to plug in my Basso DX80 to charging, so it doesn't run out of charge. I'm going to put it in my chest of drawers, and I'm going to leave music playing on these for days. So I did just that. I burned these in for days with just my normal, all the songs I have on my Basso. I was just going through them alphabetically at a moderate to slightly high volume. Just hidden in there for days. I didn't even think about them. Some people say burning is more of a psychological thing, like you're gonna sit there and you're gonna get used to the sound. I was not getting used to the sound at all. I took these off my head way before I could get used to them. Put them in the chest of drawers, had them playing for a long time, forgot about them, listened to my other headphones, listened to the Mi audios, which I used to have, listened to the full color there, listened to the HD800, all the other stuff. I came back to these after 3 to maybe 4 or 5 days. I came back, I put them on my head, they sounded a lot better. Now, I don't think this is because I got used to the sound, because like I said, I took them off my head very quickly and put them away, but they sounded a lot more clear to me. The highs opened up quite a bit into my ears, and I felt like I heard more of the whole soundstage and stuff that people have been telling me are really great on this headphone. But let's start with the soundstage in that respect. Even when these are fully opened up, the soundstage is... Maybe I've been spoiled. Actually, no, I have been spoiled. The HD800 absolutely spoils soundstage for a lot of people. You can put on the Focal Utopia after listening to the HD800, and you're like, where did the soundstage go? It's just that vast. It's so vast. I'm starting to wonder if it's artificially something hanky panky going on with the HD800 soundstage, making it just so vast. But compared to the Focal Utopia, the Focal Lair, this has more soundstage than that. I'll agree to that. But the K7XX, to my memory, using various binaural recordings that I've been listening to for about a year now, which I know all like the placements of the stuff and the imaging and all that, this has less soundstage than the K7XX, in my opinion. About, I'd say 15% less soundstage. I'd hate to put a number on it, but that's kind of how I think about it in this regard. So, a bit less soundstage in the K7XX. AC800, absolutely, just forget about that. We're not even going to consider that right now. So, yeah, a little bit less soundstage, but still very nice. Now I can see, like I have two friends who are just into gaming. They're not really into hot audio stuff and all that, but they have these because they did some research and they saw that people have been talking about how the soundstage and the imaging of the HD598 is very nice. And I agree. These are very nice. Some people might disagree and say, "Oh, you can't use these so much for gaming. Like if you're playing an FPS, you can't really hear everything around you. You need to hear the footsteps and all that." Never mind that. These do very well. I've been playing Overwatch with these. You hear everything around you very nicely. This has some good amount of imaging and a pretty good soundstage. So don't let those knocks like color your opinion of these. For $99, £75, £99, whatever, these are a great gaming headphone. A very good gaming headphone for the fact that you have the great soundstage and you have the spatial awareness and all that, and you have the really good imaging. But let's talk about the sound itself now for music. The bass on these, I was told the bass on these would be quite thin and not that pleasing to my ears. So I immediately thought, okay, the HD598 is like a less refined HD800, because the HD800 doesn't have that much bass either. But to my surprise, even after burning these in, even after that congestion issue was gone, these had quite a bit of bass to my ears. I was surprised. I listened to electropop music. I heard the sub bass. There's a certain song where the sub bass in the beginning dives down low. This got pretty low, not as low as the Focal Lair or the Omni or the HE500 even, but pretty low, lower than the Sennheiser HD800. I found that very surprising. And these have more of a mid-bass hump than the Sennheiser HD100, so you have a bit of a warm sound, which I was very surprised by. Like, I wouldn't call it overly warm, maybe a little bit more balanced with a slight warmth to them, because they're not bright. These aren't bright headphones. I thought they would be, but they're not. Now the bass, it does, it's not very clean. It's not very precise, but for what this is, for the price, you get a very good bass impact, bass reach, bass quantity, bass quality. Maybe dips a bit lower than the other headphones that I have, but it's still very pleasing. And definitely not lacking to my ears. I'm a bit of a bass head, but not overly so. So if you're expecting THX100 levels of bass, forget about it. You're not going to get that from this, but you will get a good pleasing musical experience with this, no matter what genre you listen to, even if it is EDM. So the mid-range is probably the highlight of these headphones, just like the mid-range is the highlight of the HD600 and the 650. The mid-range on these is a less refined version of those two, but it is still very pleasing. It is still very good for vocals, very good. I've been listening to The Weeknd on these, and all the vocal harmonies, all the vocal layering just piles up, and you can listen to it very easily, very nicely. It comes through very nicely. And I was listening to, let's say, Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, and again, vocal layering, it piles on the listener, and you can hear it darting from different, like Billie Jean, the song, you have like music coming from, you have one vocal sample coming from here, from here, from here, from here. It comes out very nicely, very clearly, and it has a kind of like a little warm tint to it, which I really like. It doesn't feel like it's like the Sennheiser HD800. Once again, it takes a bit more of a further back approach, where it's not too warm, not too forwarded in the mids. These feel a bit more forwarded just slightly, and like quite a bit more warm. So the vocals come out naturally, like that. Male vocals. Female vocals, I don't think there struggles too much with those either. I find that it's quite balanced around the mid-range. It's not as articulate, it's not like, let's say, as high-end, as gasp-worthy as, let's say, the HD800 or even the HE500. But for the price, once again, for the price, I find the mid-range to be very pleasing on these headphones. Now the treble, I was afraid, like I said initially, that even after I put them away for burning in, I thought if it does burn in, if it does clear up, I'm probably going to get a very bright pair of headphones. It's probably going to be treble heavy like the AC800. Not at all. This is, you get a good amount of treble, you get a good amount of treble extension, but you do not get the sibilance that you could get with an unmodified HD800. And I'm very glad about that, because that can be a deal breaker for a lot of people. You don't get that with these. You will get really nice cymbal clarity. It won't be very splashy, very the treble won't be so precise, it won't be so refined like even the HD800, like you're going to be like, you know, you're not going to pick it out in the mix so much, but it does a very good job. Again, for the price, it does a very good job with the treble. And the treble and the mids on this headphone come together to give a very good experience with video games, with music, just general easy listening. Like if you can just want to slap a pair of comfortable headphones on your head and you don't want to think about music, don't want to listen to music just to pick out stuff. You know how some people put on headphones and they're listening more to the headphones than they're listening to the music? These are not for that. If you are an audiophile, self-confessed, and you want to just listen to something easily, these will give you that experience. And you can take these with you wherever you're going. Not in public, by the way, because once again, these are very open. So yeah, don't take these out in public and think, okay, I'm going to listen to these on the bus. Not a good experience. But you can take this if you're visiting someone's house for like a few days and you want to take something with you, and you can't take your whole setup with you. Just take these with you and you'll be fine. This is just for easy, casual listening. Very good pair of headphones for that. All right, now I've gone through the frequency thing. So let's talk about the sounds. Okay, I've talked about the sound stage. Let's talk about the isolation, because I did touch on it just briefly when I said don't listen to these on the bus. The reason for that is that these are open headphones. Definitely, there is a closed version that's come out. I believe that's the 569, but don't quote me on that. I'll look it up later. But these are open, but they're not as open as I thought. Again, like the soundstage wasn't as vast as I thought they would be. The just the general like openness of the cans, like this isolation, isn't as much as I thought. Like I sat down. I mean, the isolation is a little better than I thought. What I'm trying to say, it's not as open as it doesn't. The outside sound doesn't intrude on you as much as I thought it would. If you're in just a casual listening environment, like if I'm sitting in my room, sometimes I can hear traffic outside. I can't hear whether I'm listening to with like this, but I can hear when I'm listening to the HD800, for instance. I've even had these on my head listening to music, and I close them. Like, you know when you do that to some headphones, you close the ear cups with your hands, it changes the sound massively. It doesn't change it so much on this. I found that very surprising, that I could be covering up these grills with my hands, and it would just change the sound. Not that much. Definitely not as much as the other headphones that I have, where it just completely morphs the sound, turns into this shadow of its former self. This doesn't do that so much. I think that is the reason why Sennheiser went ahead and made a closed version of this, which is a limited edition that's available in India only. I saw on Reddit somebody talking about that. I found that quite intriguing, that they have a closed version of this, and I don't believe the sound of that will be vastly different because of this reason. Because I closed them and I found them to be, they isolated better, and the sound wasn't that different, but I'll have to get my hands on one of those if they're available in the UK, and then I'll see. So, ultimately, I'm very happy with this purchase, and I'm thank you to the guy who recommended I try these out. Also, maybe it was the same guy, maybe it was someone else. Somebody wanted me to compare these to the AC800, and my first thought was, that's a bit unfair. These are 1/10 the price of the HD800 when they're on sale. That's a bit unfair, I thought, but I did it because the guy asked for it, and because there's a point of reference for everything else in the Sennheiser line. This is more similar to the HD800 and the HD650, more similar to the 500 series, very similar to the HD598, which I believe has more bass than this. Maybe slightly less soundstage, I'm not sure. But compared to the HD800 and the HD700, this is like very different. But for the price to performance ratio of these is very good. If you just want a casual pair of headphones that isn't hard to drive, not hard to drive at all. Like I plugged these into my motherboard sound card, which I did to test. I tried that for a few hours. Sounded alright. It was well driven. Okay, my brain might have turned on and be like, okay, there's a few little things in there which I want to clear up, which then I use my Basso as a DAC, which has a function to do that, the DX80. So I just tried it with the phone out of the Basso DAC, DAP, while it was used as I used it out of the phone out. Sounded great. Didn't really need more power than that. But I did plug it in to my Magni 2 by Shit Audio. I listened to it for a bit and I thought, well, there's a difference here. The bass, which I thought was a little woolly when you normally listen to it, it did feel like it was a little more controlled. But that could also be because of my DAC, with my Shit Gungner DAC, which does a lot of good stuff with the bass and the control of it. So it could have been that. But it wasn't a massive difference, but maybe a slight difference. But even so, if someone asked me, hey man, I'm sick of Razer headsets. I'm sick of these headsets and SteelSeries, whatever. I want a good pair of headphones which aren't too expensive and can give me like a very similar thing. Okay, they might need to buy a third-party microphone and attach it over here. I agree that is one thing they might have to do. But if you want a gaming headset and you don't care about isolation so much, these are great because they're good for music listening, good for games, good for just overall price and performance ratio, very good. For a lot of people, this will be probably one of the headphones that they'll probably just get and then they won't really need much else. Like another headphone I can say is kind of like that is the M50X by Audio Technica. But I like these better. I like the sound of these better. I find that these sound a lot more natural than the M50X does. But the M50X is a closed design. People want them for portable listening, etc. These are open. Even though they're not that open, they're still pretty open if you want to go outside and you'll hear stuff around you. So, yeah, definitely recommended by me. If these go on, they probably will, to be honest. When these go on Black Friday sale again or Cyber Monday, and you're thinking about a pair of inexpensive headphones to just take with you to places or just have for really, really comfortable listening, because like I said, everything from the clamp to the air cups, the air pads, the cushioning on top, I find these to be very comfortable, and I don't experience any issues with comfort. I don't experience many issues with feeling like I'm missing out on the audio so much, because if you're just playing a video game, if you're just casually listening, these should be completely fine. So I could recommend these to you quite easily. So, and barring if I've forgotten anything about these, like you get two cables, a pair of headphones, I think that's about it. So, thank you for watching my review. I think I'll do a write-up soon. I'll put it in the link down in the video description when I do. And yeah, check these out. Not that expensive. I could give these as a gift to my dad and he'll be completely happy with them. In fact, I think I'll do that next time I see him. So, thank you for watching my review, and I'll see you next time.